Yep. All right, excellent.
Yep.
Well, welcome everybody to CEANY's first professional development webinar of 2018. The Continuing Education Association of New York dedicates itself to the promotion and support of quality programs of public continuing higher education across New York State. The association serves as an advocate for the post-secondary adult learner and provides opportunities for professional development to members. The purposes of the association are many, but the purpose of our webinar today is to encourage your professional development and promote an exchange of information and ideas. I've been on the CEANY Executive Board since 2008, and I've found that one of the most valuable benefits of serving as a board member has been the ability to connect with other continuing educators across the state, many of whom I would never have the opportunity to interact with. So the collaboration of SUNY, CUNY, EOCs, and at times BOCES, continuing education professionals, is unique across the state and is very powerful. At board meetings, we have the chance to go around the table and talk about our successes, challenges, and other points of interest in our field. And I always walk away learning about great innovations, pitfalls to avoid, and very practical marketing or budget tactics that I can directly apply at work. The Un-Webinar is our way of engaging you in that rich discussion and open communication, and I'm very, very glad that you could join us for today's webinar. I hope you find it to be time well spent with fodder to both nurture you professionally and while you nourish your body with lunch at your own desk. So I have a delicious salad and some soup that our lovely people here at SUNY Oswego created, and I will make sure to mute my microphone so you are not distracted by my munching. So bon appetit, and I hope you enjoy the webinar.
Thanks, Jill. Karen?
Yep, thank you, President Jill. This is Karen Shuley-Williams, and I co-chair the Professional Development Committee with Lisa Raposo. And as has been mentioned, this is a new session. We did borrow it from Open SUNY, where they have summits, and they're called unsessions. So it's something that has very little structure, but as Jill mentioned, a lot of bang for your buck. And what I do encourage you to do is to take action on something that you heard about today. One of the challenges with professional development is we go to seminars, we go to workshops, we go to conferences, and then we forget to take action on something that we said, oh, that's a great idea, or I need to follow up and integrate something like that in my own shop. So I do encourage you to do the action step. Before we move on, I do want to mention that our March webinar will be on non-credit to credit. And then also be sure to check the CEA website to look for your spring regional meeting information, white papers, and information about our special interest groups. We have two, one on banner users and one on ADA. So without further ado, do you want me, Lisa, to start an unsession session?
Let me just go over a couple of little notes, and then you can be, yeah, absolutely, on cue for sharing in today's webinar. Thanks, Karen. An unsession session, I like that. So just wanted to go over today's webinar format. As Karen said, this kind of unsession, or we're calling it an un-webinar, has been tested in a face-to-face environment at some of our local conferences. So we thought, I wonder if we could help facilitate this in an online environment. So I kind of feel like I'm running a PowerPoint and a couple of different hands on buttons here to try to make this work in this format. So the un-webinar format is really an opportunity for all of us to share those successes, those innovations, a challenge that we're having. And I have an example, some things that we might be interested in sharing, a new tool that we're using within our CE units, a new partnership that we have formed, or a program that we're launching. So just to give folks an idea of the types of things that they may think about sharing. Each, as Karen mentioned, there's no agenda. Each person is going to get 3 minutes to share. And we do this format during our CEANY board meetings. We take a chunk of time at the beginning of the board meeting, and actually we go around the table and we share with one another. And I'm always taking notes, going, I'm going to go back and follow up with this person. it's really interesting if we're sharing some of our challenges. Oftentimes solutions or ideas are presented during that roundtable sharing session. So we found that was really valuable, and we were hoping to kind of open that up and offer it to our membership. So, so who's going to be able to talk when? Again, we have about 3 minutes each person who is interested in sharing. I'd like to be able to, you know, document some of the things that have been talked about here, and perhaps give that an opportunity to you know, share that or send that out to other members. But we are recording today's session. As I did this, I said, wait a minute, we've got a recording. So we'll be able to send that out, that recording, to folks. If you look in the chat area, if you open up your chat tool, I did put this link, which is a Google document. It's just a simple Google Doc. I did put that in the chat area. If you click on that Google Doc, we can share that amongst all of us. And you can actually kind of put your name on a list of when you'd be, you know, kind of on cue of when you would like to talk. So just to kind of get things started off, I put my name first on that document, just to kind of give an example of how things can flow. Whoever's name is next on that document will, you know, take over for the next 3-minute session. So what I'm going to do is, I should have that open on my screen, and I'm going to see if people have been able to log into it.
I can't find the link. Where is the link in the chat?
Did you see it? Do other people see it in the chat area?
It's on the slide, Lisa, but not in the chat.
Oh, okay. Let me go ahead, and I just stopped share. Oh, it's, if we arrow up, I have it in my chat because I think I put it in early when I was on there on the chat area. Did folks see it now in chat?
Yes.
Awesome. So go ahead and click on that document. And I'm going to share my screen again. Oh, good. I see lots of people in there. Great. So in this document, this is a way we can kind of help capture who is going to be talking next, so we can just kind of run through that flow. I do have a timer set up. So before we get started, I'm just going to play the timer for folks. 3 seconds, so we know what it sounds like. Pleasant, right? Okay, enough. So I'm going to be setting it for 3 minutes, so I will be running that timer, and at least we know as people are sharing, you know, what that kind of time check is going to sound like. And I do see folks going ahead and clicking on that document and getting on cue. That's great. So we'll actually have on the fly meeting webinar notes from this as well that we could share. And we'll also have the recording. So let's see if this works. This is what we typically do in the face-to-face session. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. We have Karen on cue. Kim, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set the timer for me. My name is Lisa Raposo. I am the interim director at the SUNY Center for Professional Development. We are a university-wide organization that provides training and professional development for various communities throughout the system. So we work very much with what we call role-alike groups, people that are in similar roles across the campuses. And we help facilitate professional development, communication, and collaboration system-wide. So, you know, really with the intention that each campus is not kind of sitting in their own silo, reinventing the wheel, in really trying to facilitate collaboration. Also, there are oftentimes training initiatives and professional development initiatives that, you know, we share. We have similar needs across the campuses, so we will bring people together in regional professional development opportunities throughout the state, and we'll also facilitate online professional development opportunities for various communities. What I can do, if folks aren't familiar with this CPD, I'm actually going to type in our website here, the document. And one of the major new initiatives, somewhat new initiatives, that we are really focusing on this academic year is the implementation of our new collaboration and communication system across the university. We have a collaboration platform. We've had it in place for a couple of years, and we're actually switching platforms. We used to be on the WordPress platform, and now we're going to be on Workplace by Facebook. We're slowly rolling it out to all the campuses. Many of our roll-alike groups have already jumped in, and they're setting up a group workspace and utilizing the tools that are in the platform. But we are also bringing on campuses. So campuses are able to use this platform to help facilitate their inter-campus communication. So not only will they be able to use it for their communication on campus, but then it will also be able to link them to what else is happening within the SUNY system and make those connections that we really strive to put in place here at the CPD. So, so the platform is called Workplace by Facebook. All SUNY faculty and staff will have access to this, and they're just utilizing their campus credentials to log into it. We do have the ability to collaborate outside of SUNY. So for CUNY folks, that's it for me. For CUNY folks, you would be able, if you're working with any folks within SUNY, we have what we have a guest instance set up where we can connect people outside of SUNY to help to participate in the discussions within Workplace. So it's a really fun initiative that we're working on, and I wanted to share.
Thank you, Lisa.
Great. So next up on queue here, we have Karen, and let me know, Karen, when you're ready, and when you start talking, I'll go ahead and start the timer.
Start the clock. We learned an important lesson in the fall about the effectiveness or increasing effectiveness of communicating with our online students. We send all online students a welcome letter from me, and then I let them know they'll hear from our concierge in a couple of days. And the concierge sends out an email and talks about different services. And as all of you know, the start of the semester for any students, particularly if they're new or if they're being oriented, is like drinking through a hose, if they read anything at all. So one of the things that we also do is throughout the semester, we stagger the emails from the concierge based on what's coming up next. One of the services we offer is a non-photo ID. So, and within SUNY, there's a collaboration, there's an agreement across librarians that if you're attending one SUNY and you need to go use your local library, either at a community college or another SUNY to do face-to-face work, you just have to show an ID. If students haven't done on campus and they're 100% online, they don't have a photo ID, so we issue non-photo IDs. That information goes out initially. We also do things like, as it gets close to midterms, we remind students about tutoring. After they get their grades, maybe they're not so good, we remind them about the concierge services, smarter measures, and tutoring again. And what we did is, as we get after midterm, we know most students need to do papers. So we push out the same information that was in the welcome emails, but only one or two items at a time. And with the non-photo IDs, after the initial email went, we had 11 students request one. When we redid that select email right after midterms, we had 22 people sign up and then receive their non-photo IDs. So obviously, this is about what they need when and around an academic cycle. So I encourage you to consider that, not just with online students, but with any of your students and what you're pushing out. That's it.
Let's see, Karen, you have 40 seconds left.
Well, give it to somebody else. Or if anybody has a question.
I'm sorry?
You can give it to somebody else, or if somebody has a question, they can ask.
Does anyone have any questions for Karen? I'm going to look at that chat area.
I don't see anything in it.
Yeah. Okay.
Kim gets my extra 20 seconds. Go to it, Kim.
Great.
Thanks, Karen.
Thanks. Okay, let me just reset the timer here, Kim. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Kim Kendall. I'm from LaGuardia Community College. I'm also the treasurer for CEANY, and my update has to do with the $175 million announcement by Governor Cuomo for the skills agenda. So I was invited by the National Association of Training Employment Professionals to a strategy meeting about a week or two ago regarding this legislation. So obviously more funding for the work we do in continuing ed would be great, and workforce development. The details that I have is right now, so there's this announcement by the governor, and then it has to pass in the budget and in the legislation. So most of the strategies around lobbying with the legislators to make sure that this money gets passed. It will be administered through your regional economic development councils. So it would mean that these regional economic development councils will have more money. It will be spread amongst the council. So each council will have about $15 million to fund local workforce initiative programming. So what can you do is basically, if you are going to Albany, if you have a good relationship with your legislator, reach out to Melinda Mack. I put her information in the notes. She's coordinating the legislative effort to really talk about why investing in workforce as a state is a good idea. Like I said, there's some details about the legislation that's really interesting, like the creation of a workforce development office to oversee the regional economic development councils, and a new website, a one-stop shop for it. So if you have questions about the initiative or the funding related to it, I have tons of details. Just reach out to me. But in the meantime, if you're doing any lobbying work on your own, Melinda just asked to coordinate because there might be an opportunity for you to help support this initiative, which, you know, we all feel that more money and more funding for workforce programs is a good thing, and we want to make sure the legislators hear from us.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim. Any questions for Kim? I got to pull up chat. It's not on my screen all the time. Messages. Okay. Okay, great. With 9 seconds to spare. Okay, who is next? Who signed up next? Fern.
Hi.
Awesome. Okay, Fern.
Can you all hear me? Is all good?
Yes, sounds
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
All right, my time has started, so I'm going to borrow some of that 9 seconds. So I just had a really interesting meeting with one of my faculty chairs here at John Jay from the science department, and we're cultivating hopefully a new partnership in starting a summer camp in forensic sciences. So what we were thinking of doing, probably too late for this summer, but next year, right, is to do like a 6-week summer camp in forensic sciences, so like a CSI boot camp. Right? So they would learn, like, you know, a week on evidence collection, toxicology, all that stuff. So you kind of tie in some of the STEM stuff, but make it more juicy and sexy because of, you know, the topic at hand, but also tying in some of our relations that we have with NYPD. I could speak to a detective to come in at the end of all that theory to say, okay, now that we've looked at the case and how we gathered information and evidence and all of that, how, so problem solving skills will be tied in there with real skills application. So we're really excited, and because if it's this profit sharing model, we're trying to do so, we would split some of the cost with the science department, and then they can then help fund their graduate students who need money for obvious things like the experiments and some of the things that they have to do in science, which is not cheap, but that's the reason they sort of came to us to help and see where we could come and collaborate. So it's kind of neat that we are having such buy-in from faculty, and they're coming to us because they don't know how to do something like this. So I'm really looking forward into sort of tooling some of these things, but also targeting a very specific market, right? So not adults, but getting the high school students so that we can also build a pipeline into college. If they're all excited after they've taken this CSI boot camp in forensic sciences, they might say, oh my God, I want to go to John Jay to do my undergrad. So some really exciting stuff. So we'll keep you posted, because it sounded so exciting that I wanted to see what toxicology and evidence gathering might mean, although we probably won't be digging up cadavers, but some of it could possibly be some bone excavation in Central Park, right? So they are walking a dog, and then they come up, your dog is happens to be finding a good spot to leave its mark, and then it comes upon some bones that you realize is like a human remain. So what do you do then? So something like that, where it's not so out of the ordinary that it could actually happen. So so that's a really neat way to also get buy-in from faculty. As you know, we always have issues with working on our credit side, but this, I think, will be a really interesting model to do, and hopefully when we have success, I'll be happy to share again should this take form. But in the meantime, before it takes off, we might try some after school, just to drum up the interest in fall, so we have it for summer. And my time is up.
It is.
Yay!
Right. Thank you. How would I have known you would have taken the whole time, right, Fern?
And a little bit, yeah.
No, very good. Thank you so much. And I was, Fern, if you want to go ahead and put your contact information into the Google Doc, that would be great. I was just taking some additional notes as you were talking as well, so just some phrases.
Not a problem.
Great. So next on queue, we have David Cohn from SUNY Orange. David, let me know when you're ready. I'll go ahead and hit the start.
Sure, I am ready.
Okay.
Okay. So here at SUNY Orange, we are a banner school. I think some of you folks I've already spoke with regard to our challenges with regard to online registration, a registration system, using Banner as a registration system. So we just went through a business process review, and thank goodness that we have a third party, a neutral organization that has provided what I have been saying for I don't know how many years, all the issues that we have. And the VP level heard that, and the president level heard that, so I want to strike when the iron is hot. So I am now, there is now more support in moving in whatever direction makes sense. So we have reviewed Banner Ellucian Elevate, and without going into greater detail, it does not talk to Banner as you think it would. It doesn't go back and forth. It just gives information to Banner. Banner does not give information to Elevate. So, and it's also very expensive. So we are now looking at a variety of options, less expensive options, and something that will make it that our processes are above board and PCI compliant and all that fun stuff. The first step that we're going to do, and it's in tandem, it's working with our CIO here, is that we're going to develop a spec document, which we actually, I'm starting to put together, and luckily we have something from CUNY that you folks did down there that is a good starting point, but we're going to tweak it towards Banner specificity. And after that, we're going to review some products, and then hopefully we will go to an RFP and see which one of those products will be able to provide those features. So if anybody is interested in learning more about my process, or if anybody is interested in actually being a part of our spec document, my CEIO recommended that we try to get a bunch of other banner schools to maybe consider who is currently looking at their systems to be a part of this process. So if anybody is interested, please send me an email, and I would be more than happy to update you and to share with you where I am. And my timeline is very quick. And what I mean by that is I really need to get the spec document done within 2 weeks, and then move forward from there. Again, strike while the iron is hot, and hopefully we can find something that will be good for our department as well as the rest of the college here. That's it.
Great, thank you, David. I don't know if you wanted to add any more to your paragraph. I just started to say if people were interested in working with you, that they could go ahead and contact you.
Yep. And actually, I see Alan is posting in the chat session. He's over at Corning, and he's saying he's currently in beta with the new registration system, and I'm going to connect with Alan to find out more about that.
Great. I see you have a link in there as well, Alan. Maybe you could add your name to this document and tell us a little bit more about that system that you're looking at.
If I can figure out how to add my name to the document, but
okay. Yep. If you move up the chat area a little bit, there's the link that I sent. It says on cue link. If you go ahead and click on that, it should open up the Google document, and you should. Yeah,
mine's not clickable. So.
Yeah, mine wasn't either. I had to cut and paste it into a into my
Okay, my
browser.
Great. Thank you for letting me know that, Janet.
And I'll go into the browser, paste.
Okay. Since I see there's some questions there in the chat area. I'll make sure to capture those and send those out, but I wanted to make sure that I went on to the next person who's on queue, which is Lori Barkovich. And Lori, let me know when you're ready, and I'll start the timer.
I'm ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Basically, recently we had an issue with one of our non-degree programs here at MCC. It was originally approved by the VA, and then we changed the clock hours on it, and it suddenly became no longer approvable. So we've been looking at all the different ins and outs a little bit more intently, and I just thought that would be something that I might want to share with all of you. So what I'm basically going to quickly go over are the don'ts. So basically any bartending development programs are going to be nixed by the VA. If the program is offered by radio, that is also a no-no for the VA. If a program is self-improvement or professional development program, and if the certificate is awarded upon completion, and there's movement on this, it has to meet some certain level of legal requirements in order to be eligible. So there's movement on this end, but I think what they're trying to aim at is if it's more self-improvement and less on the professional development side, it'll probably get next. A couple examples are if it's maybe woodworking or something that's not going to be worth a 3 to 5 week program. Other things are, is the program avocational in character, which means if it's more of an entertainment course like photography or music. Another thing to be aware of, if you're targeting a veteran specifically, all of the students in your classroom cannot be veterans, because that means you're targeting their students, and the VA looks at that as being poached, and so they would actually not fund the program because you are targeting that audience specifically. Some other things to be aware of are if the course is, if you are actually gearing towards one occupation and you're getting one certificate for one job, that's another recommendation that they don't necessarily want. They want you to be able to be helping these students not just for one program but for more. And I think that's pretty much all I kind of looked at so far because I'm really learning about this. But the biggest thing that you want to be aware of is any programs that you're offering and have been approved. If you make any changes to the program, you do have to allow for them to reevaluate that program, and it usually takes between 6 to 12 months for that process. So it's not a quick approval process. And that's me.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much, Lori. Feel free to add any other notes there that you would like and be able to share with folks. And thank you for adding your contact info. Okay, great. I see that Janet is on queue here. So Janet, when you start talking, I'll go ahead and click the timer. Thanks.
All right. We had a huge announcement about a month or so ago about Imperium III. It's a lithium battery company that's going to be infusing $140 million into some of the old IBM Endicott buildings in Endicott, New York, which is going to help revitalize that area. And they are currently sending out, I mean, it was developed by a SUNY Broome professor, or not SUNY Broome, Binghamton University professor and a student. And they're looking to hire, you know, up to 650 people eventually. But they're sending some materials out to be tested. And so our chemistry department is reaching out to them to offer to have some of our students do the testing for them. And we will be billing Imperium III, probably saving them a lot of money, getting some experience for our students and working with the faculty and bringing in revenue for the college. So that was a meeting I just had this week, and we'll be ironing out the details. They're going to go back to the CEO of Imperium III with our price point, which I know is going to be a lot less than what they're paying going out to other vendors. But it's a good partnership between the college and a new manufacturing facility that's going to be located in Endicott, New York.
Great, thank you
That's
so much.
all I have.
Yeah. Wonderful, thank you so much. Good learning experience for the students as well.
Yes, it is, yes.
Great, Alan, you made it into the document. You made it in on queue, that's awesome.
Yay!
Hey, thank you, and you got your camera turned on.
Yes.
So let me go ahead and turn things over to you.
So this is just kind of to tail on what David was talking about, but we had been using Banner. I mean, technically we're still using it right now as we're going through the beta. But for the system, now remember I've been here a year and a half. 15 years ago, I was using online registration systems with credit card purchase capability. And I arrived here and we have a website and it says register online, and they click and they fill out this same lengthy Banner form as if they were a 4-credit student. Then it's sent in to a system where my admin assistant pulls it, retypes it in the Banner, which then eventually generates a physical invoice that's mailed out from the bursar's office. The most inefficient system, and that's just the top level of inefficiency. You know, we shouldn't be there at all on the strictly non-credit side. So now we for the last year and a half, looking around, you know, some of those systems are insanely expensive. They're great, but at 20, 30 grand, not doable. We came across one called Go Sign Me Up. So if you're looking, and it's gosignmeup.com, and it meets all of our needs. It has the online registration, and it interfaces with our Chase Pay, which was a big one. So right now that's still going on, so on the downside, we're running 2 systems right now, the old Banner and the new one. But the fact is that the fact that we're able to beta and we had the okay from the administration was a huge win for us. So we hope to be up and running and join 2018 with a lot of the rest of the world.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. If you want to go ahead and put your contact information in there, that David would know how to reach out to you as well.
Sure.
So let's take a look at participants in some of the chat area here. I'm going to encourage people to share, especially, let's see, non-board members as well. Fanny, I don't know if you're listening in or had something to share, but feel free if you'd like to share something happening on your campus. Go ahead and put that in. Was there an interruption? Go ahead. Did somebody have a question? Okay, it must be background noise. So if you're looking for that Google Doc link, I'm going to put that in the chat area again. Okay, so feel free to click on that link and then, timing myself, and put your name on the list. I do see that there are some questions in the chat area, so while we're waiting for other people to share, let me go back and take a look at some of those questions. Fern, there was a question from Karen about the CSI camp. A couple of questions. The first question is, what age are the campers? Oh, did you answer that already? Senior high school students, you did. Okay.
You did, thank you.
Yep, okay. Let me go back through. Maggie to everyone. Looking to see if there's any specific questions or if there was just general chat. I'll tell you, I love the chat happening here because I know a lot of our webinars we really try to make engaging, but that's just people asking the presenters questions. I love that folks are chatting with one another here. Okay. Lori shared her link there. I'll make sure I put that in our document. Oh, she's done that already. Everyone's one up on me. Because I have several different windows open here. Okay, let me go ahead and check at the participants list to see if we have other folks that would like to share. We have Christine is on the line.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Christine.
So I have much to share, but I just do want to put a save the date out there for the coming CEANY conference in November. Some of you may have already seen, I just created the event for it for a save the date on Facebook, and it's going to go out through other social media. So if everyone can just put in their calendar who doesn't already know that it's November 7th through the 9th at C-Suites, and we'll be sending out tons of information regarding that.
It's definitely share. CEANY annual conference.
And that's Saratoga Springs, right?
Yes, Saratoga Springs, and it's a new hotel that we're using this year, and it's beautiful, and I think it should be a really great time, close to home, affordable.
And everybody gets their own suite.
Yes, the suite is definitely a nice perk.
And happy hour from 5 to 7:30.
Right, happy hour with pickings, good food, good drinks, yeah.
Good breakfast.
Okay, see how many amazing things there are going to be? Besides all the wonderful presentations and networking experiences.
So let's see, we also have, I'm trying to see some of the other folks who have logged in with us. Doreen Kiva is logged in. Doreen, I don't know if you have anything to share. If you'd like to either jump in the chat, in the Google Doc, feel free to do that. Let's see, we also have Jane. Jane, I know that we haven't heard from you. If there's something that you would like to share with the group.
Well, I would like to say what fun we had a couple of weeks ago when our own Jill Pippin came to talk about micro-credentialing and badging to our faculty retreat, our winter faculty retreat at Wave Hill. And she has really got the ball rolling in a very dynamic way. And I just want to say how much we appreciate it and how much we'd like to hear from other colleagues who are working on adding micro-credentials to the certificates and licenses they're already giving. So I'd love to hear from people who are already doing this.
Thank you, Jane.
Oh, thank you, Jill. It was phenomenal.
And please go to our Facebook CENY page to see all the awesome pictures that were taken at the retreat.
Oh, goodness.
Yes, I know you're
Did
probably
they get photoshopped?
No.
I requested photoshopping.
To make you 10 years younger, yes?
Yes, and 50 pounds later.
But again, I think this is a conversation, a dialogue that we would all like to continue as we watch the really extraordinary progress that the different SUNY colleges are making, and we are looking to learn from you all. So thank you.
So I can also share regarding that topic, Jane, that we are offering some webinars here regarding micro-credentialing. I can check to see if, and maybe Jill would know if they are open to others as well, and I could actually see if that's something that you could share with your folks down there. Jill, do you know if those webinars are open? They're being sponsored by that. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I'm talking away. They are being offered by the Fact 2 subgroup on micro-credentials, and it is meant to be SUNY facing. However, I know that we did the micro-credential symposium on November 3rd, and that was recorded and available to anyone. It's my understanding that the SUNY leaders are very happy to share information. The more the better has been the policy so far, but I just want to be positive, sure about that before we share that information out. Tomorrow morning we have a conference call with the Provost's office regarding micro-credentials and the brand new SUNY trustee policy that was just adopted and approved by the SUNY trustees last week. So I should know tomorrow whether or not we can share that.
Okay, well, that we would very much look forward to hearing from you, and if the answer is positive, we'll be dancing all over the Bronx.
Excellent. I do know that there was a recent podcast that was sent out,
Okay.
So that definitely can be shared, Lisa.
Yes, that's right. There's the Oswego podcast.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
out on YouTube, and it was a conversation between myself, Nan Travers from Empire State, and Ken Lindblom from Stony Brook. And we just kind of talked a little bit more about micro-credentials. It was a little less of a workshop tool-based kind of discussion and more of just a discussion, like an interview.
Yeah. So could you send me the link, or where should I find it?
Lisa, could you, I mean, it's...
Yep, I can.
Did you host that, or should I send it out?
No, we didn't host it, but we're offering that out to making sure that people are aware of it.
Because I thought I saw you had posted it on a workplace somewhere.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
I can share it with you, Jane.
Thanks, Lisa.
Okay, thank you, Lisa.
I'd be interested too, Lisa, if you could share that with me.
Sure. Okay.
Can you put it in the Google Doc, Lisa?
I can. I have to run out to workplace to grab it, but I will definitely add that to the Google Doc. Okay.
I'm happy to create or to somehow convey the information I did to Lehman in some format, whether it be providing my slides or and presenting it in some way, shape, or form to CEANY.
Yeah, great. Let's see who else we have that might be interested in sharing. I know, Jane, we have your colleague, Fanny, who has joined us today, so I'm happy to see you in today's session. Let's see. Anyone else? We do still have some time. We have about 10 minutes left. Let's see. Ellis, also from Lehman. Ellis Ludmilla. Mary McIntyre has joined us as well. Is there anything you folks would like to share about something cool happening on your campus, or maybe a challenge that you're having? Not seeing anything there in the chat area. Okay. Okay. Dana, I see that you joined us as well. Is there anything happening at your campus that you would like to share?
Hello?
Yeah. Hi, Dana. We can hear you.
Oh, okay, great. Hi.
Hi.
No, we're taking on an initiative to increase our completion goals. So one of our strategies is working with the different departments, both at continuing education and on the academic side, to see how we can help support our students with improving to help support our students with increasing completion of their degrees and certification.
Great. So that's a big initiative on your campus.
Yes.
So what things are you putting in place specifically, Dana?
What we're doing is we have the different directors from different departments putting in what's happening currently. For example, with my program, the Allied Health Career Pipeline Program, we had to go back to look at a couple of years of data that shows how many students started training, how many completed, how many are working, to find a baseline that we could work with to provide that, so that this way we'll be able to see, can we increase our goals by a certain amount, and which is basically what we're doing, to see what we can do to increase. Based on that data, finding out why students didn't complete and see how we can be more supportive. And then for students, for me in particular, with students that have certifications for their allied health courses, seeing why some students either didn't pass in the first try, or if they didn't pass in the second try. We just be more mindful so we can be more supportive for those students.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Okay, we have a few minutes left here. I'm just going to go ahead and check that chat area. It looks like there's some chat happening between folks, so that's great. Getting your questions answered. Okay, just want to check in one more time before we call things to a close. Let's see, Fanny did not get the opportunity to share, so I wanted to put that out there. Fanny, you want to
Hello, this is Fanny.
Hey, Fanny, how are you?
I'm good. I'm sorry, I have my phone on mute and I didn't realize it, but I have, I just wanted to say hi to everybody. I really don't have anything else to say.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you. Okay. And let's see, Ellis, I don't know if there's anything that you wanted to share. I wanted to make sure you had the opportunity. What's happening with your group there at Lehman? I know you are muted right now, so I'll make sure you're unmuted, and you can also share via the chat area, so feel free to do that as well. Maggie, I wanted to make sure you had the opportunity. And if you just participate to listen, that's absolutely fine as well. And then Mary McIntyre, you didn't have that opportunity either. So did you want to share anything happening down at the Borough of Manhattan Community College? Okay. Let's take a look. I saw a chat come in here. I see that Maggie is saying that she is an Alan minion. He speaks for the team. And we did hear from Alan today. So thank you, Alan, and everyone for jumping into this format. We have covered a lot of different topics, touched upon a lot of different topics in today's presentation. And I think that's really interesting. I'm going to make sure to share this resource in the Google Doc with everyone. So feel free to add on anything that you need to add on. I'll send this out to the group. I do have everyone's emails because you've been hearing from me. I will also make sure to share the archive because we did record today's session. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to stop share. There we go. And I want to make sure to stop the recording.